Hi friends, it's Mask Monday. I'm going to do Star Skin. I can see, maybe I'll try to do it in editing, that I haven't switched my camera around yet because I don't actually know how, but I'm trying to figure it out. Back to Mask Monday. I'm going to do this Star Skin. It's something that you do this ampule and then the sheet mask, and Mary Catherine Loves Cats sent this to me, maybe in a giveaway winning, and I thought it looked good. It says it's for all skin types and it's nourishing and brightening. And I only have today and tomorrow here at home, and then we're going to go on a little trip where I will be dehydrating myself. So this mask beforehand is going to be good. Break open capsule. All right, I just kind of bent that. We're going to a music festival. And I think it's our, we've been to concerts, but no music festivals for, the last year and a half. So I'm very excited. They did, it's an outdoor thing, and they had one indoor thing in a barn that's been canceled and moved outdoors since, things are on the rise again. And we'll stay in our fifth wheel camper, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's not, a huge festival like, Bonnaroo or Coachella, although we're going to Bonnaroo too in like 2 or 3 weeks. This one's more like maybe 25,000 people. But there's still, bands that we like and are going to be happy to see. Yeah, my slippery, oily hands did not want to let that open for me very good. I think this is kind of slid down out of the spot that it was supposed to be in, and it's folded 3 times. I don't think they put that in there very good. So while I was getting everything ready to do this, I was, of course, watching YouTube, and the last person who I had to cut off because I had my tea and everything ready, I was watching Hot Modesty, and she also has started doing, it's Alexis, Mask Mondays with us, so I'm sure that most of you know her. But she also does like gratitude or affirmation cards at the beginning of each of her videos, so that's all the further that I'd gotten. But it was something like, don't negate the small things, because when you look back in life, maybe they will be some of the big things, which it made me think about also not taking too hard just some of the awful things, because looking back, they might be some of the fun things, or at least they make good stories. So I have one for you. I'm going to tell you about our family vacation trip to Florida, probably 10 years ago, maybe more, 12 years, something like that. So my husband and I and our 3 daughters are deciding to drive to Florida just to save money over flying, even though it's about a 27-hour drive to where we're going. We had a minivan that was probably 9 years old, like not crazy old. And we did decide we should get it, like looked at by the service people before we take that kind of, drive with it. And we did that and spent, a few $100s getting things all fixed up for it. But those were things that were going to need to be done, anyway, eventually. So good to do it then. We get about 1 hour down the road and the air conditioning goes out. This is July, and we're starting out in Illinois and going to drive to Florida. It was hot. It was very hot. Only an hour down the road, I asked my husband if he'd like to just turn around and go back and get the car. Sure, it wouldn't be as comfortable as the minivan would have been with 5 people in it, but we would fit. And sure, maybe he and my oldest daughter wouldn't bring their golf clubs that they were planning on bringing, but, were they really going to golf that often anyway? Maybe just once on the trip. So wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But he was like, no, it's fine. I'll start looking for a car rental place that has minivans. So he looks, and in July, it's very hard to rent a minivan because people have done that well in advance of the exact moment that you'd like to rent it. We finally find a place that has one, and it's about an hour out of the way, but he decides it's definitely worth it. So we drive there. They don't have a minivan. I still don't know if they lied or if they thought they did. I don't know exactly what happened, but they did offer us 2 cars for the same cost of the one minivan. But that would have meant that me and my husband, the only people old enough to drive, would have, instead of been able to take turns driving the 27-hour drive, we would have each needed to have driven full on 27 hours. We just didn't think that was going to be a good idea. So we didn't do it. And we drove the whole 27 hours to Florida in July with no air conditioning and 3 children and the windows down. By the time I got there, I literally, don't you hate that word? But I'm using it correctly. I literally had windburn on my face from the window being open and me probably hanging my face out of the window on the ride so often. And the girls were actually very good about it, or as good as they could be. They would definitely at every potty stop and break, complain and whine, but in the car, they were very good about it. So we get to where we're going, which was, honestly, it still was one of our most fun vacations we have ever had. It was at a Club Med. It was like St. Lucia or something like that, Florida. And they had like kids clubs and teen clubs that, we could take the kids to for maybe around, it wasn't often, but like at least 2 hours, I'd say, a day. That gave my husband and I a little bit of a break. I have always said family vacations are not vacations for the parents. It is like on time. It is go time. It is like kids expect to be entertained full on 24/7. That's not at all a vacation for adults, which is why we did a lot of the all-inclusive or a cruise ship kind of things, where we could get breaks from our own children. And they liked it too, or at least I tell myself they did. I keep looking this way because this is the room that Nadia had been in, and her bed was here. And then last weekend we took it where she's moving to her own apartment. So I've moved some things around, but I also moved the cat tree in here, and now I've got 3 cats playing on the cat tree, looking out that window, and they're getting a little rammy. I think they're going to probably be knocking my camera around too, just so you're aware. Anyway, back to my story. Super fun vacation. They had a trapeze school at this place that I did like a trapeze thing, and they picked a few people to be at the show at like the last day, and I was in the show. It was so much fun. I mean, it wasn't like I was doing crazy fancy flips and twists, but I definitely, like, I, on the little ledge, could reach out and grab a hold of the trapeze bar, which you had to jump for it. You couldn't let it come to you while you were still standing. So like you had to just kind of trust that you were going to reach it as it was swinging towards you. And then you held onto it, and then you flipped your knees over the little bar and then swung backwards so that your hands were dangling down, and then reached out for this man that was coming and swinging on a different bar, and then you grabbed a hold of his hands. It was fun. Anyway. During this time, we were having the car worked on to fix the air conditioning. And it was, I'm going to say, you know what, my numbers are not great, but we're going to give you the range. It was about $800, I'm going to say, to fix the air conditioning. But again, probably it would have went out at some point and would have needed to been fixed. So, we fix it. We pick it up at the end of our wonderful vacation. We start driving home, and about an hour down the road, the van is making a funky sound. And then there's like steam or something coming out of the engine, and, we're on an interstate, and my husband kind of pulls off to the side, and it's definitely like not gonna restart. And all 5 of us are walking down the interstate with, like, we've left our luggage basically in the car, but like everybody brought kind of like a little backpacky or little bag kind of thing with, a few items in it, because who knows what's happening. And because it was like a Friday night at maybe 3:30 in the afternoon. And I remember saying, like, you've got to call around like now, or it's going to be, after hours on a Friday night, we're going to be paying double for tow trucks and you got to hurry and find people. We were maybe only a mile to an exit that had like a gas station kind of thing. So, and it wasn't a bad gas station. So in Florida, they had kind of some that looked almost like a souvenir shop. So that wasn't too bad to sit around in. My husband called a tow truck and had it towed somewhere, but he had to go with the tow truck guy. I don't even remember why. So he gets my daughters and I a cab to a hotel, because he can already tell it's going to take a while. We're definitely going to spend another night in a hotel. And luckily there was one, not too far. The cab ride, however, was interesting. It was the oldest cab I've probably ever ridden in. It did not have seat belts in it. This is, in 2008, and it didn't have seat belts in it. And the driver was smoking, and was a bit scary looking. Right. Anyway, but we get to the hotel, and it's actually a very nice hotel. But again, we couldn't check into the rooms until my husband got there. And again, I don't even remember exactly why, but probably something like he had the credit cards or, something. But so we had to hang out, me and the 3 girls, in the lobby. Luckily, the lobby was cool, and it had lots of different chairs to sit in, like wooden chairs and velvet chairs and throne looking chairs and round chairs, which made it fun. So we did a photo shoot with the girls posing in all the different chairs, and they had like some statues of, like big frogs and things. So that was also fun. It had a swimming pool. Nobody brought a swimsuit with them. But within walking distance, there was a Crate and Barrel, and I think it was a Target. I could be wrong about what kind of store it was, but I'm thinking Target. So we did walk to the Target, and we ended up eating at the Cracker Barrel too, but and bought swimsuits for the girls so they could swim. And then the next morning, they called and said it was I'm not a car person, the engine, the transmission, something huge that was going to be thousands and thousands of dollars. I need another drink. And not only that, it was going to take them, like they needed parts, and would take them, 5 days or something to fix. Or they would offer us $200 for the car that we had, literally just spent probably $1,100 on. But we really couldn't stay there another 5 days. Like, my husband and I both worked and had jobs to get back to. So we took the $200 that we really did. It was like, really, they just put like an $800 air conditioning unit. Couldn't you just like take that out or something? And but yeah, okay. We didn't have a lot of leverage of, negotiating here. So our options now are to buy a new vehicle, which we usually kind of research and, try to find good deals on. So it wouldn't have been anything like that. It would have been basically just going somewhere and buying a vehicle, or renting a car and driving it home, which again, there's not going to be any minivans available. It's going to be a car. So that's what we did. We have to have the golf clubs shipped home, which was over $100. So like basically how much we got out of the van, we had to pay to ship the golf clubs home. And then, it's not even a luxury car or a big car. So like little Nadia definitely had like a hump to sit on in the back seat, not like a comfortable seat even. But now we're at least on the way home. We went through a fast food restaurant drive-through, kind of very quickly, like we, didn't really get out of town even. So put us, another 15, 20 minutes or something later going down the road. And we get on the road maybe 10 minutes, and we sit in the largest traffic jam I've ever been in my entire life. It was around 2 hours. So much so that, people were, like, I've only seen it in TV shows or something. People were out of their cars walking to, try to see what was happening. There were, teenage boys with their shirts off going around, talking to different, people in their cars. People are starting to turn on the radio and, dance and have a good time, which, again, made it much more fun if you're going to sit there for that long than festering in your car. And I still think, because at the very beginning, I thought if we hadn't stopped for the drive-through food, maybe we would have gotten past it before the wreck happened. But then later I really thought, we could have been right in the wreck, and that could have been us in the wreck itself, instead of just waiting in the line for 2 hours. So I'm going to still think at this point it was a good thing that we went through the drive-through, and it saved us from being caught up in the wreck. And anyway, it was literally just one terrible thing after another. But it has made a really funny story for the last 12 years that, every one of my daughters, I've heard her tell it to people and friends, and I've told it to many people and friends. And we have great, great memories. Definitely of all of the memories of times in our family's life that we talk about, that's right up there with great bonding family memories. So Anyway, that's my story that I'm going to tell you during my Mask Monday. I really had wanted to tell you other things, but that story got a little bit long. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, and if it's too long, I'll cut this part out. But I did want to tell you that that Teami Detox tea, just to update, I saw no difference whatsoever in anything like weight loss. It did not make me lose any weight. So I did the skinny and the detox. It was, the skinny in the mornings and the detox every other night. And they had a little chart that you charted everything down in. And now so I didn't, if it was supposed to make you lose weight and, there was some sort of guarantee, because I did not follow it exactly, I wouldn't, that would be null and void, I'm sure, anyway, because there were a couple times that we were out of town at a hotel and I did not bring it to wake up with it. So I maybe skipped a day, but then I went longer at the end because, I used the tea up. But yeah, the whole time my weight fluctuates about 5 to 6 pounds at any given month, I think, anyway. And it did that all through. I would be down a pound, up a pound, up 2 pounds, down a pound, down another pound, up a pound. So anyway, just in case you were, wondering if the Teami 30-day detox plan would help you lose weight, it certainly did not me at all. And the other fun thing that I'll cut out if it's just way too long is a few people did the what do you call things game. And I thought that was fun, and I really kind of wanted to do that too. So this is the list. Cooking food on an outside grill. We always called it grilling out, or recently, because when we would do it with friends, we'd call it a grill and chill. So that was that. Carbonated beverage. We mostly say soda, but I think pop is cuter. I definitely will say pop sometimes, not because it's regional to me, just because once I heard that it was a thing that other people said, I kind of picked it up. Also, we are in this small region of the country where we're originally from that people would call it a sody. And my dad definitely called it a sody, not a soda. But I think I don't do that just because I think it's a little corny. Okay, the thing you push your groceries in is a shopping cart. The bugs that light up at night. I go back and forth. I definitely call them fireflies and lightning bugs, both things. Pecan is a pecan. The last piece of bread in a loaf, we call it a heel. I know it could be a crust too, but yeah, we call it the heel. But the heel makes a great hot dog bun if you're cheap and don't buy hot dog buns. Caramel is that caramel to me. Athletic footwear, I still call it a tennis shoe. Sometimes maybe a sneaker, but mostly a tennis shoe. The little lobsters, crawdads. And me and my dad used to go get crawdads too. He would put on his big waiter boots, and we had this huge net, and I could stand on the outside of the pond. And he had it, and whoop. And then I used to kind of like to play with them because they felt fun when I was little. The outside water tap, I call it a faucet. I've heard other people say it like it's a spigot, and I guess I've heard that too, but I just still called it a faucet, and the inside one also. The liquid that makes your car go is gas. The space behind a car is a trunk. The lights that regulate traffic, I call them a stoplight. Even if it's on go, it's still a stoplight. A place you buy alcohol from is a liquor store. The thing that turns your TV on is a remote. The place you get medicine is a pharmacy. The pancakes are the things that you put syrup on for breakfast. The thing that gives you information about the streets and roads you're on. So I think that I do call that maps, even, so I would do it if it was paper, it would be a map. But on my phone, the thing that I use, I call maps, bring up my maps. But when there for a while it wasn't on your phone and you had the little other device, it was a Garmin. And I do think I called it a Garmin, even if it was, I didn't say GPS or, whatever else could be said. An ATM is the machine that gives you money. And that was the last one that she had. But I also, in case other people want to do it, these are things that I want to know too. So I call it a purse, but I know some people call it a pocketbook or a handbag, or I'm sure there's other things too, but yeah, a purse. What do you call that? And then also, I think I mostly say sofa, but I know some people say couch, or I've also heard Davenport. But yeah, sofa. And my turn signal, more often than not, I call it a clicker. If I'm in editing, I was just thinking, I also call that a blinker sometimes. I'm going to use it, or where's the clicker? Maybe if I'm mad at somebody else for not using theirs, I might, be like, where's your turn signal? But I think more often I call it a clicker. I had forgotten the sweet on the stick was actually one of hers too. And yeah, I think I call it a sucker. I've heard lollipop too, but more often I would call it a sucker. More often I would call a pacifier a binky, also probably a little childish. But I really think, because I thought about it, even if I saw like somebody else's kid and they like dropped their binky out of their stroller or something, I think that I would tell the mother like, oh, she dropped her binky. I think that it would just come out automatically instead of pacifier. And this is another one that I mostly just want to know about for other people. So is dinner, lunch, or supper? Like when you talk, so it's breakfast, lunch, supper, or breakfast, lunch, dinner, or breakfast, dinner, supper. Like how do you use those terms? I think the only thing that I never go out to eat supper. Like supper is eaten at home, or maybe if you'd go to your mom's house for supper. But I feel like people are not using the term supper nearly as much as they used to be. And then here's my last one. Do you guys have tangents or do you digress? Because this is definitely a new YouTube thing for me. I have never digressed in my life, but Kim and Laura, and now every now and then I hear other people say I digress. And I always think, that's so funny. I thought only like queens digressed or something. And I know, because I've looked it up, and no, it's totally a normal term that people can use when they go off on a tangent. I have always went off on tangents, and I have never digressed. So to me, that's funny. So is that a regional thing, or is that just me being stupid? Or, yeah, I want to know if you guys, when you get scatterbrained and start talking about other things, do you have tangents, or have you digressed? And how does my skin look? Do I look brightened and glowy? It feels rather nice. I can definitely still tell that like there's that oil barrier on there. So I'll see, how long that kind of lasts, and if I have any other, problems with it being under, by applying my other skincare and such things. So anyway, this might be one of the longest Mask Mondays I've done. However, since I am leaving, I'm only here today and tomorrow, and then I'll be gone. You probably won't have to watch any other videos of me all week, and which makes me a little sad because I still haven't received my BoxyCharm or my Ipsy for this month. And so if they don't come today or tomorrow, I won't get them for like a week, but I'll make it. Okay. Thank you so much. And I'm sure if I've talked about people, I'll probably have them listed in case you want to check them out. And but as I always say, I'm pretty sure if you're watching me, you've already watched them. So thanks. Like, subscribe, do all that fancy YouTube stuff that makes everybody happy. And yeah, I'll see you in the next videos. Bye.